everybody.
Hello.
It's another day in the neighborhood.
Yes, it is. All right, here we are. Welcome to our very cool and spiritual evening that we are having. And I'm really excited to hear all about this topic because, Vera, ever since we watched that movie, I mean, I just love Harriet. I didn't know that much about her.
Black History Month.
I know, it's perfect.
Time to talk to her.
Yeah,
talk
for
about
sure.
her. Yeah.
Or talk to her if you talk to her on the other side.
That would be awesome, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, if you guys have not seen, if you haven't seen, I should say, Harriet, it's an amazing movie.
Oh my gosh, it is.
Wow.
If I had 1/10 of her abilities, of her courage, of just her belief in God, that God is going to direct her wherever she was supposed to go, even though she really was psychic in that life. But that's a gift from God.
And that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Because in the movie, it's showing her having spells. And she says
it's from being hit in the head.
Or epileptic seizures is what they had said. And people called them spells, but she was saying that she talks to God,
and she did.
Yes, I mean, she got hit in the head, but she was psychic.
But it like sometimes, you know, when you get hit in the head, there's certain things that happen. Sometimes people that were very happy-go-lucky before turn the opposite.
I've heard that, like it changes their demeanor,
or it changes just the way they are. It changes. Like, there's this one guy, he was back in the day popular. He was struck by lightning, do you remember? And he became more psychic from it. And he never had that ability before, which we all know is not true because we all have that ability.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. But it's just, you know, it awakened, let's say it that way. And that's like what happened to Harriet.
Wow.
Yeah. And the actor that played Harriet needs to get an Academy Award.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I know. That was like, to me,
oh my gosh.
I was thinking, this movie has got to be movie of the year, I thought. And she definitely needs to be recognized for that.
Oh yeah.
Because she was amazing. I could not stop thinking about this movie.
I thought you were going to say I couldn't stop stinking.
That's what it sounded like I was saying. But I couldn't stop thinking about it and her. I mean, she just is an amazing actor. I know I get used to saying actress, and I know they don't like that anymore. Yeah. It's so hard to keep up. Yes.
You know, being PC, right?
But, yeah.
So it was really, I'm telling you, so challenging to do this past life for Harriet.
Really?
Only because there were so many past lives that were like slamming me, and it was like I'm trying to get this one, and then another one came, and then another one came, and you know, so it's like, oh my gosh, it took forever.
So it sounds like she had a lot of significant past lives.
Right. I mean, we all have.
Well, we
for
all
her purpose.
Have. Yeah, we all have. But for this purpose, and I feel like maybe you're getting them. Yeah, you're getting them maybe to right now. This is something that's just really important for people to know.
Yeah.
I mean, even in watching the extras for that movie, it just seemed like this was the perfect timing for this movie to be done. There's different reasons for that, really. There are, but maybe that's one of the reasons why so many of these particular lives for her are coming at you.
Her courage and her
commitment. Need to hear about this.
Oh my gosh. And all of her past lives is just amazing. Well, the ones that I picked up that were affecting her the Harriet Tubman life.
Right.
Okay.
See, now that's what's so interesting.
Yeah.
That you're getting so much of that because of what's going on right now in the world and in our country, even just in our country.
Yeah. And I'm getting like she's going to be coming in, or is she in yet?
The wheels are working.
Yeah, because it's going to be interesting because the next woman president, not the, like, let's say Elizabeth Warren wins, or Amy, or, you know, hopefully it's a woman. Come on, guys. Enough of the, you know,
women can
try.
do it too. I mean, look at Harriet. We're talking about her. Look at what she's
going to be president.
You mean after,
not now.
After this woman, I mean,
let's.
even if there's a woman president this
Now.
time,
There's going to be one.
a little bit later.
Yeah, like how many? It goes in 4. Who knows what it's going to be now? But in
Right,
the future,
Right.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yes.
That's actually amazing.
Because all of this it's for that ultimate purpose,
Oh
and
my
it's going to
God,
be
you guys. Okay,
Yeah.
that in itself
That
is amazing.
time frame I would love to live in, because
Yeah,
it's
I
going
don't
to
know
fix
that-
a lot of things.
I don't know that we're going to be here by
It
then,
might not.
but that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
that
We
gives
can watch
me
it
hope
from the other side.
for yeah,
and give her
gives
like
me hope
more.
for our children and grandchildren and
Because super warriors are
Children's.
starting to come in. I mean, not starting; they have been.
that's for
You
sure.
know, all these kids that have been coming in they're just super warriors because it's going to be needed.
We
But
all
they've
have
got a lot
our-
of protection, so don't feel bad.
we
Because
all
I
have
know
our-
when I say that, people go, "Oh no, my poor grandbabies or future great grandbabies." No, they're warriors for a reason, and they chose to come in at this time to help.
You know, it kind of reminds me of there's so many of those super hero movies that we
Mhm.
have now that kids are watching,
I'm so glad though.
and I am too, because it
we
makes me think that
we need that.
all of us, all these kids, everyone has a superpower. And for her, it's courage. You know, we all have, because Angus has even said, he's told us that we all have a special
And he's our
ability.
master teacher.
Yes, Angus. Oh, here he is, you guys.
A new picture.
Yeah, if you didn't see our
New
art
drawing,
reveal,
yeah.
here he is. And,
In all his
and
glory.
we're going to have him in our store next weekend for you all to see
Yeah.
up close. He's kind of hard to see. But anyway, but he was saying that we all have a quality, or a gift, I should say, that we really give to the world. And so that's like our superpower. It could be
Right.
patience. It could be courage. It could be compassion. Anyway,
It could be through art.
thank you.
You know, it's true. It could
And
be
messages to empower and
Mhm.
heal.
There's
Yeah,
a
so we
reason
all
for
have it.
everything. It could be singing. It could be acting.
Whatever somebody
Look
learns
at
to
the
overcome.
actor that did Harriet Tubman.
Oh my God! See, to inspire people through making them, because he was saying even with the arts, whether it's singing or acting or whatever, they can inspire people with how they make us feel. This is a perfect example.
Excuse me. Because she felt.
That actress.
She made you
actor.
feel like you were there and it was her.
Oh, completely. I couldn't
That's
stop
awesome.
thinking about it. But anyways, yeah. So
We should become actors so we can vote. Let's get a SAG card, even though I think you have to do one acting gig though. We're out. So anyway, the very first one that I picked up on. Is there anything else you want to say first? I didn't mean to cut you
no,
off.
no, not at all.
Okay. The very first one I picked up was Revolutionary War, and then I'm going, God, is that around the same time? But no, I don't believe it is. But it was Revolutionary War, and she was male in that life. But there was a man that owned a tavern or bar or whatever you call it back in the day, and he would have to travel like 100 miles to get the goods for his store or bar or whatever it was, and then he would have to go back, and it's horse, you have to do horse kind of stuff because you don't have
Right.
cars, right?
Horse and buggy
Uh-huh,
or what have you, wagon.
So, but on the road that they were on, because he went with the owner, he worked actually. Harriet worked in that bar, tavern, whatever you want to call it. Worked with this man, and he was black, or she was black in that life as well.
And was she a woman?
No, male.
Okay, so
Male.
okay,
The tavern guy was white,
okay,
but Tubman was a male in that life and was black.
okay.
Okay. So, but the tavern guy, and he was free.
Okay.
Harriet was free, but they acted like he wasn't free
Wow.
because they wanted the British to kind of know that they weren't for Washington. They were for the British, but they weren't.
Right. But
So-
they were kind of playing along so that they weren't attacked, basically.
Right. And then,
That
but
makes
on the
sense.
way, they would see everything that was going on, and like the British people or British soldiers and such, would say stuff to them because they looked like they were just, a tavern owner and his slave, and They weren't anything part of the war type of thing.
Oh
But
my.
the tavern guy and Harriet Tubman, male in that life, were for Washington.
Oh
You
my
know, for
gosh.
for our cause.
Wow. Isn't that amazing? Like the similarities of that life and her Harriet Tubman life.
Yeah, and they went like a lot of miles, like she did in Harriet Tubman. Like she went through so much terrain, they couldn't figure out how she did it, and such long distances.
Wow.
You know, but then the Harriet Tubman, male in that life, had this prolific memory that which helped them because they didn't have to write things down. He remembered everything. He remembered everything they were supposed to give to Washington. They remembered every little place that the British were. They didn't have to write anything down, which helped because they were frisked at times to see, you know, and there was nothing.
I bet they were frisked.
Yeah.
Okay, can I say something? Or are you in the middle of?
No.
I just have to say, isn't that amazing? It's a great example of what, when we go through something from our past lives, we carry with us our strengths, and that was something that he in that life learned over here of how to remember everywhere that he had been, so that in the Harriet life she knew she could remember how she got there, and she went back and forth over 100 miles and then more to help all those people escape so many times.
I don't remember her. Well, yeah, she'd have to remember, huh?
Definitely.
That's a good point.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and in that lifetime, he died. Harriet died from a freak accident with a horse.
Really?
And was kicked in the face. So, but it's still the head area. But I mean, it killed him.
Oh.
So but it was more towards the end.
It just hurt my mouth.
I know.
Oh my God.
It was bad. Because he was trying to do something with a horse. And the horse got scared, or something scared it or something, and he bucked.
Oh.
And or I don't know if he touched him wrong or something, and the horse didn't like it. I don't know, something happened. Gosh. But yeah, so that was the end of
that lifetime. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah. But that was amazing.
Wow, it is.
Yeah.
It just is, like I said, it's just amazing how our soul, we carry within it ourselves the cell memory to help us and others over here with what we
exactly,
those skills that we
in the warrior spirit. Because I also got that she was in it was during Roman time. But it was like she was in the area in London, but I don't think it was called London then, but like more like England. But her husband died, and he was able to keep I keep talking to you, I'll talk to you. Her husband kept the Romans away because he had such a massive army or people, but then he died, so the Romans were going,
we're going to come on in. It's a woman ruling this kingdom.
Well, she held them off for I don't know how long, but eventually they got to her. But before she could be captured, she drank poison.
Really?
Yeah. So it was like nobody killed her, but
wow.
Yeah. So.
You know what's interesting about that too is, it's back in those times, they would just invade and just take so many slaves. They would enslave people. Yeah. That's what they did. And it's like, it just reminds me of something that is her dharma, which we have done a video on that. But what that is
responsibility.
It's something that it's like, maybe like, let's say in this case, it's an injustice that we want to do something about. And we have these different lifetimes, which reminds me of that. It's like, here it is, the injustice of being enslaved. Come on. I mean, she said it perfectly in that Harriet Tubman movie, when it's like, we've got to kill this beast called slavery. Yes. And so it's this passion that she had, and you can see it in these different points of like, no, you're not going to enslave us here in the Revolutionary War either. And then here, that's just amazing.
And then she did the bubonic plague.
She had a lifetime during that time
too. But she would.
Wow.
It was like, everybody was afraid, right? They were afraid to get it. They were afraid to touch the people or whatever. But she would go into the homes, I guess, or whatever you call them, and then she would take care of the people that were, like, if the parents were dying of the plague, she would take care of the children.
Oh.
But she would clean things up, and when they died, she would take them, and then she had like her own little house full of the people that survived, and she kept it spotless, and that was what was not done back then. But to her it was like, how do you say, cleanliness next to godliness kind of thing.
But that was to keep people alive.
But at that time, she didn't know.
She didn't know, but somehow she knew. Again, she was psychic. Like she was picking up.
Yeah, because it was so dirty back then. So. That's what I picked up. And all of these are going boom, boom, boom.
So she's just a very spiritually evolved
and determined
soul that just
and
keeps wanting to come down
and
take charge and just smite out evil and darkness that's happening to people. That is awesome. Well, I am excited to hear that this same amazing and beautiful soul could be, and I'm hoping will be involved, because I know things are up in the air right now, but will be involved in our democracy as a leader.
She should have been on the $20 bill. That was what Obama had set up, and that was scratched.
Well, maybe we could bring that.
Us
as a royal we can bring that back up.
Right.
That would be a great idea, actually.
Yeah.
And just. Well, this is amazing.
Yeah.
The Past Lives of Harriet Tubman. Thank you so much.
I know, but I was going to bring up this other one really quick.
Oh, great.
Because this was somebody that asked about Nipsey Hussle.
Yes.
And she, I believe, I don't know, he or she, it's Beautifully Blessed 84.
Okay.
And wanting to know if either of these two poets could have been Nipsey. And one of them that she researched was Phyllis Wheatley.
Okay.
And female. And then the other one is Jupiter Hammond's life. And I believe, Beautifully Blessed, that in actuality it was Jupiter and not Phyllis. Because I pick up male life back then. Plus this one, he was, how do you want to say it? He was a slave, like you have in the research, and his slave owners, I believe, really took care of him and educated him. I believe so, and that I'm mixing it up. But he lived with an influential family, and he found respite there. It was like he didn't feel that slavery was that bad because he was treated well. So he was kind of isolated from what everyone else was going through. And I think this is what really spurred on Nipsey Hussle, because he wanted to make a difference in this lifetime because of that experience that he had. And he did the best, of course, we do the best we can with what we have at the time. But he wanted to make, because he was a poet in that lifetime. But it was more about religion. And
that lifetime for him.
Yeah, because slave owners really made them become whatever religious, how do you say it?
Oh, whatever religion that they're following, that's what they want.
The slaves,
Right.
So especially him, because he was brought into the fold in the house. So he wasn't treated horribly. Right. But he didn't take himself out to see what the rest of the world was doing. He was comfortable where he was. And Nipsey Hussle, in current lifetime, before he was murdered, wanted to make a difference.
Yeah, see, that's the amazing thing that he was doing with his life.
Yeah. Because it's nice to be, taken care of, but you have to see what's out there and how you can help.
Right.
So.
Because he definitely didn't have to. I mean, he was focusing, if I believe on the time, at the time I should say, toward ending gang violence, right, in LA. And so, he definitely didn't need to be involved in that at all, but he was, and that's what.
Because he had a nice ice, he could have just stayed home and made more money. But he really wanted to make a difference.
And isn't that so cool? It's like that's where I mean, he must be so proud of himself that he came down and that's what and he was really working on that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know, unfortunately,
But somebody else will
but
take
he was
over.
charted to, that was an extra point that he took. So, and yeah, like you said, somebody else will
be inspired because of what he did and because of his death. And sometimes that's why you want to go out the way you go out. Because it puts a spotlight on your life.
Yes, exactly.
Because he was making a difference, but it wasn't getting the press that this does.
Right.
And unfortunately, but that's the way he wanted to go. I know that sounds weird, you guys, but that's...
I know.
Just work with us here.
Yeah. I know, it kind of does.
On the other side, you know what the purpose is, you know what you need to do, and it's just challenging in this life to understand why you would want to do it. Right. But when you're on the other side, you're going, oh, I can do it.
Yeah.
And your guides are going, are you sure? We might want to give you a little extra help. No, I've got it. And then you come down here and you're going, what the heck?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah. We want to keep it clean, I guess you could say.
Well, thank you all for joining us this evening. It's evening here
and
anyway.
Please watch the movie if you haven't.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And tell us what you think in the comments. Oh yeah, and like, share, comment, subscribe. We love you already, and we'll love you even more. All right, thanks for joining us.
Happy Black History Month.